सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। ॐ अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। We are at 165. Shloka number. Okay. तयोर विवेकः कथम् मुञ्जादिशीकामिव दृश्यवर्गात् प्रत्यञ्चमात्मानमसङ्गमक्रियं विविच्य तत्र प्रविलाप्य सर्वं तदात्मना तिष्ठति यः स मुक्तः। देहोऽयमन्नमयो भवनोन्नमयमस्तु कोशः चान्नेन जीवति विनश्यति तद्विहीनः। त्वक्चर्म मांसरुधिर अस्ति पुरीशराशिः नायं स्वयं भवितुमर्हति नित्यमुच्छुद्धः। पूर्वजनेरपि मृतेरथ नायमस्ति जातक्षणक्षणगुणे अनियत स्वभावः। नैको जडश्च घटवत् परिदृश्यमानः स्वात्मा कथं भवति भावविकारवेत्ता। कर्मेन्द्रियैः पञ्चभिरञ्चितोऽयं प्राणो भवेत् प्राणमयस्तु कोशः। येनात्मवान् अन्नमयोऽन्नपूर्णः प्रवर्ततेऽसौ सकलक्रियासु। नैवात्मायं प्राणमयो वायुविकारः गन्ता वायुवदन्त बर्हिरेष। तस्मात् किञ्चित् क्वापि च वेत्तीष्टमनिष्टं स्वं वान्यं वा किञ्चन नित्यं परतन्त्रः। Okay. So in the last class we were seeing Jnanamaya Kosha. Okay. There was a very specific question. How does this Pranamaya Kosha or how does this prana have water as a achhadanartham? How does water support prana? So, Vayuhu has got mobility, fluidity. And fluidity is very clearly the property of water. So, in the absence of this water, this Vayu's fluidity will not be practically possible. And thereby, that Vayu, if there is no water in the system, okay, this prana does not reach to the various parts of the body. For example, why do you feel weak when you have dehydration or loose motions? So, weakness is a direct correlation of available prana. Okay. Now we know that we have also said this particular prana is prana so far as it has got mobility. So far as it is kinetic and moving, chalanam is there, till that only it is called prana. And that chalanatvam, when it goes, that is the time we say pran chala gaya. Pran ka chalanatvam chala gaya. Okay. Then there can be a question that, oh, even if there is a lot of water and moisture, then how can the prana go? Prana chalanatvam is happening because of it getting the reflected sentiency coming from the manas. If manas is dead, the ability to reflect sentiency to prana stops, and thereby prana ka chalanatvam goes. It is like saying, when the mains are switched off at the home, the electricity does not come in the cutout at our house. When the mains are switched off. Okay. Mains being switched off is one particular aspect. The other aspect is the wire getting broken. Even if the mains are there, if the wire has got broken, still you will not get the electricity in your house. So, if the wire becomes weak, you see it gets heated. There are so many things happening. So, this wire part is something like the water to the prana. So, if the water is there, then only the prana will have that fluidity and mobility to go to various parts. Okay. And if the water level in the body reduces even by, so which means that if we have 70% water in our body on an average, okay, 70% there is water in our body. And for a doctor to call the situation dehydrated, how much of water needs to get reduced? It doesn't have to come to 20%. It doesn't have to come to 30%. Then only the doctor will call it as dehydration. No. 4 to 5% reduction also is called dehydration straight. So, unless that level of water is maintained, that energy mobility directly is affected by that. That is why you start getting weak. The weakness part does not improve by eating food. That is why whenever you are doing a vrata or when you are starving yourself, you never go and start eating. You first have water. Okay. Because that water is first required to first activate that energy to the full extent in all the parts of the body, including your mouth, for you to be able to eat. That is why when you are so weak that you can't eat with your mouth, the doctor will give you a saline. And the saline is what? Water. Maybe with electrolytes and other things, but water is the component which is going in. Okay. And hence, pranaha achchadanartam apaha. Very clearly. So it's a well established thing. And with our practical experience also we know, when the day you drink little less water, the next day all your muscles will start aching, they will start nakhre shuru ho jate. The only answer is drink more water, automatically things will start working smoothly. So nothing has happened other than just that ability of the prana to go to all the target organs and every cell, that gets little retarded because the water level is little lower in the body. Are we able to get this? Is this clear now? Okay. So we were now last time talking about prana before going to prana maya kosha. And in this prana we said that live energy, moving energy is prana, dead energy which is not moving is not called prana. इसी को प्राण चला गया बोलते हैं और प्राण का जो चलनत्व है that is the one which tells that we are alive or not, and the manifestation of that moving prana in our body is various organs are working, various systems are working, my body has a normal body temperature, my activities are there, my breathing can be felt by the through the nostril. So there are so many ways how this prana manifests its presence. Okay. Now, this prana, as we said, is an instant giver of energy. It is not the water. The air is the instant giver of energy. It is not the water and not the food. Okay. For example, you start running. You start running in a slow speed, and slowly you start getting heavy breathings. You continue to run. Slowly what happens? That heaviness of breathing forces you to open your mouth and take breath in. Which means my nostrils are now going to be an impediment for the quantum of energy which I need to take through the air, and hence I require a bigger opening, so I open the mouth and take. If I still continue, I start putting effort to take. I start pulling in air more, right? Till a level comes that you collapse. If you continue, you will collapse. Okay? And that at that time of collapse, even if water is given or food is given, nothing will work. What you need is oxygen. That oxygen has to get converted to prana shakti. Okay? Is oxygen equal to prana? Or is air equal to prana? That will be a very air has to be prana, right? Is air prana? Or is the oxygen in air prana?
It is the oxygen there.
Which is prana.
Yeah.
Correct? No. It is not the oxygen. It is not at all the oxygen in the air which is called prana. Because I have various ways to separate this oxygen, liquefy it, keep it together in a container. That means I am storing prana shakti. The answer is no. The air is sthula mahabhuta. So is the oxygen in air, which is sthula mahabhuta. And when you are talking of prana, we are talking of sukshma, and it is subtle and not gross. Then how do I understand what is this blessed prana? I can feel this prana, I understand its presence, I understand if it is not there, I understand its absence, I understand its working, I can experience it, I can feel weak, I can feel healthy, I can feel very energetic, all those things I understand. But what is this blessed thing? Can you just point this finger and say, hey, this is prana? And this is where, because our analytical mind now starts thinking to point out this is prana. And to understand that this, what is that called prana, we will take a analogy and an example. And from that example, you will understand what it is. You can unmute and be interactive, huh? Because I'm going to ask questions and that's how you will understand this. If you are sitting in a car and driving, what is moving this car?
The energy coming from the petrol.
Huh?
The fuel
When
burning
the petrol burns,
So it is not the fuel.
yeah, it's the
it's
fire.
something inside the fuel.
Can you point out and tell me this is what it is?
The fire energy.
The fire energy. Okay. So which means if I have 1 gallon, because you guys are from US, if I have 1 gallon of gas and keep it inside the car and not put it into the tank, I still have the energy. Will it make this car move? So is the energy of the petrol or the gasoline or gas, whatever you call, is that the so-called prana which makes the car run? So now even that blessed energy which is not even available to be understood as gross, we are saying that is also not prana. At least you are happy saying that, okay, that fuel is not prana, but the energy in the fuel is prana. Okay, at least now I am able to correlate. And now I am telling you that is also not prana. Or first day. Are you able to get it? So it is not the energy of the fuel which makes the car run. Or let me put it, it is not the energy alone of the fuel which makes the car run. Why? It is not available to the car. Now what is needed along with it?
It needs to burn and then
No, it needs to burn. What is needed for burning?
fire.
It needs a fire. Okay, then what else?
Then it has to burn.
No, it has to burn. What is needed for burning? Don't combine burning as some simple thing. What is this burning?
Air is needed.
Air is needed. So it needs oxygen from the air. Correct? That is what is going to help in burning. So I have a fuel which is the gas or the gasoline or the petrol, and I need also another component called oxygen or the air. If these two are brought together, does the energy of the air and the energy of the gas together form this energy which can make the car run? Is that enough? No. Something else is required. What is that?
The driver.
No, driver is going to use the energy. Driver is not creating any energy. So-called creation.
Assisting machine.
Correct. So,
Engine essentially.
correct. So, one is the engine part. But the third important aspect is the fire component is required now. Just getting air and the petrol together is not going to happen anything. You need the third component, which is fire. So the burning happens only in presence of a fuel with some air or an oxygen, and when the fire element comes in the right proportion. Where? Anywhere if it comes, will it work? Like you make a petrol bomb, this kerosene bomb. Is that energy useful for the car to move? Behind the car, you break 4 bombs. Will the car move? The car will burn, but the car will not move. So you need it to be, as very clearly said, that it needs to be within an enclosed system. And when it is formed, okay, or I would say that it is not formed when it is manifested. So when these 3 components come together, a 4th component gets manifested. And this 4th component is what is that multiplied effect of the energy of each of them put together. When they come in the right proportion, in the right place, it just explodes, and that's called an explosion mixture. And that explosive mixture's energy is what is the prana which is required for the vehicle to move. Because your 1-ton vehicle, nearly 900,000 kg vehicle, if it has to move, it's like moving an elephant. Huh? Don't you need that energy? Imagine an aircraft. How much energy is required? That much prana shakti is required. Right? So fuel, of course, is an important. Air, of course, is an important. Fire, of course, is an important. Engine, of course, is an important. But when they come in the right proportion, in the right place, then only that resultant thing, what gets manifested at that time, is prana. Are you able to get that? Now you take this example to ourselves. How is this prana formed? So-called formed. Prana can never be formed, can never be killed. It is coming from Mukhya Prana. So as much as we have constancy of matter, okay, matter can never be created, energy can never be created. The total sum of matter and energy in this universe are always constant. The total sum of Atma, which is only one, is always constant. Like that, there are many constancy. In that, one of this is prana is also constant. That means you are only making something which is in the potential form to a kinetic form. That's all is happening. And that is what, that kinetic movement is what we are telling this prana is now active. Live energy. Life energy. Are you able to get this? How is this happening? So we have every cell which is the engine. In every cell, there is going to be some activity which is going to happen in that cell. And for that activity to happen in that cell, through the blood, the oxygen is going to the cell. And within the cell, there is going to be a reaction happening. That's called a biochemical reaction which is happening in every cell. And these biochemical reactions will have products which are utilizable and products which are waste. Right? If you remember, somewhere your 9th class or 8th class or 10th class, in biology, you have something called as Krebs cycle. How does glucose get broken into carbon dioxide and water in the cell? And while doing, for one molecule of glucose to be broken to 6 CO2 and 6 H2O, there are 6 ATPs which are generated. Adenosine triphosphate. Don't consider this to be biological class or class of biology. But that ATP is this blessed prana, which is that energy. Are you able to get that? So this very, very minute engines throughout our body, because all the cells which are living will participate in this. Okay, You will say the food is getting digested only in the stomach. True. But these nutrients are going back to each of the cell. Then activity in the cell is happening along with oxygen. Where then things which has to be thrown also is getting removed out. And this energy is then going throughout the body for utilization. So which means we don't have a place where, okay, there is this 10 tons of prana available, let me take little by little every time. No. That means every moment prana shakti is utilized and prana shakti is again manifested back into the system. And that cumulative prana shakti which is there in this entity called me is what tells that I am alive, I am dead, I am weak, I am strong, all those things. Sometimes you feel only the hand is weak, but my legs are strong. That means, is the prana shakti in the hand less compared to prana shakti in the leg? Answer is no. The mobility of prana shakti in the hand is reduced compared to the mobility of the... Why? How can that be? Because here don't bring the answer of water. Here the ability of this prana to go through the cells is restricted by something. आप समझ लो, आपको नॉर्मली सुबह उठने के बाद गर्दन में यहाँ पे एक अकड़ बोलते हैं ना, ये अकड़ क्या है? That akkad is not allowing the prana shakti to smoothly move. But if you do some movements and all, what happens? That opens out and that path is smooth. And that is why in yoga, what is the first thing which we do? What is the first one? Loosening. Right? We do loosening, sukshma vyayam. Why? That is why it is called Sukshma Vyayama, not Sthula Vyayam. Because now we are activating and ensuring that this prana shakti which is there in us is able to go to every cell properly. Are we able to get this? Is it clearly getting correlated? But if you tell me that, please point and show me where is this prana shakti, I will say not only me, no one can show it because it is sukshma. The moment you say it is here, then you are actually looking at something else and calling it prana. For example, if you tell me, can you show me where is this electricity? Can someone show me where is electricity? Don't show me the socket and tell that there is electricity there. Don't tell me put your finger inside and you see electricity. No, that is not electricity. That is flowing of electricity through you which you have understood. You are only able to know the manifestation of electricity because when it passes through you or when it passes through any equipment, it proves that it is there. That's all. But you still cannot say this is electricity in a form. Are you able to get this?
So it's energy basically. You cannot point at what is energy.
Exact. Sukshma hai na?
Yeah.
It's sukshma. That's what our definition of sukshma and how science also calls energy is the same way. Right? Now, which means if this body manifests prana every moment, even when you are sleeping, that is why your breathing continues even when you sleep. If everything else sleeps also, your breathing and your physiological systems continue to work. Psychological slept, intellectual slept, spiritual already sleeping. Correct? But this physiological system is active even when you sleep. That is why पेट में गुर बुर आवाज आएगा तो सुनाई देता है. पेट में आवाज सुनाई देते ना. That physiological system is working. It is working because what? Breathing is working. Continuously working. And if it doesn't work, immediately the doctor will put something to make it work. Even after that, if it doesn't work, Ram Nam Satya. Are you able to get that? And once we understand prana in this form, then based on its functions, this blessed prana gets different name. Based on what it does. For example, based on my relationship with my wife, I am called a husband. Based on my relationship with my parents, I am called a son. Based on my job, which I am doing in an office, I am called a manager. Based on the education what I have done, I am called a graduate. I don't change, but with reference to name, relationship, guna and karma, I get different names. Is it right? Same way, the prana being the same, based on what function it does, certain names are given. We have still not gone to prana maya kosha. We are talking of prana. Don't confuse. Anna is simple. Khao khatam ho gaya. Prana is not that way. And why have we to know prana so much? Because this prana, let us bypass this prana. I understand this body very clearly. I can be with the body. I understand my mind very clearly. I can be with the mind. I don't understand this prana. छोड़ दो इसको. वो है या नहीं है, क्या फर्क गिरा? क्यों छोड़ नहीं सकते? Although that is the one which is the least controllable by you. You can control your body, you can control your mind, but you can't control this blessed prana. The controls for the prana is very limited. Okay. Then why do we? Because, can you control your digestion? Can you control your liver function? Can you control your kidney function? So do you do anything about it? बोले वो मालूम पड़ के भी क्या करना है, वो अपने आप काम कर रहा है, वो करते रहने दो. अगर वो काम बरोबर नहीं किया तो you go to a doctor, डॉक्टर उसको ठीक कराएगा. Why should I even learn about this prana? Then comes pranamaya kosha, right? And this is where we need to understand prana is much more important than manas. Because even if your manas is not there, this prana is continuing to work. Even when you are unconscious, even if you are in coma, this blessed prana is working. Pranasyedam vashe sarvam tridive yat pratishtitam mateva putran rakshasva श्रीश्च प्रज्ञांच विदेहि न इति. किधर तो सुना है ना, somewhere some time back. गलती से एक सर्टिफिकेट मिल गया, उसके बाद भूल गए. Same thing, and it is coming from Prashnopanishad. Pranasya idam वशे सर्वम. सर्वस्य सर्वानां वशः प्राणमेव. दिस प्राण का वश में ही सब कुछ है. Your existence is there because of prana. Can you say no to it? प्राण चला गया तो आप नहीं हो. Are you able to get that? प्राणस्य एदम वशे सर्वम त्रिदिवे यत् प्रतिष्ठितम. It is very clearly established. Where? Tridive. What is Tridive? Tridive can be given different meanings. Tridive is Bhur Bhuva Suvaha is Tridive. In Bhuvaha, in Suvaha. Bhu means in this Prithvi. Bhuvaha is Antariksha and Suvaha is Swarga. Bhur Bhuva Suvaha. ये सब तीनों जगह पे जिसका भी वश में है वो प्राण ही है. Other meaning of Tridive is जागृत स्वप्न सुषुप्ति अवस्थासु. जागृत अवस्था, स्वप्न अवस्था, सुषुप्ति अवस्था. This is more realistic to us. This is where it connects to us. When I am awake, प्राण का वश में ही है. When I am sleeping or dreaming, प्राण का वश में ही है. When I am in deep sleep, virtually unconscious, still प्राण का वश में ही है. Are you able to get that? You know, if you connect it, it looks as though this prana is Atma. समझ में आ रहा है? If you connect it, ऐसा लगता है कि प्राणा आत्मा ही है अभी, वो साक्षी है हर चीज का. तो can we consider prana as Atma? That we will see later on. न तो आत्मा, he will tell that. Vikaratvat. Because there is vikara. So it cannot fit to be Atma. Although it seemingly looks like Atma. Because we don't know prana, we don't know Atma. We can, looking at the qualities, we can mistake it to be prana, can be Atma. Okay. So this particular one, Tridive yat pratishtitam, how does it work? Mateva putran rakshasva. They have given a metaphor here. Like the mother protects the child, like that our prana shakti protects us. Think. Now we will see the fun of it. We will see the fun of it now. The Shastra is telling us, the Upanishad is telling us, प्राण का वश में हम है. प्राण जैसा मदर प्रोटेक्ट्स द चिल्ड्रन, सेम वे दिस प्राण प्रोटेक्ट्स अस. Okay. Obviously, anything which happens to us restores back to normalcy only because of prana. You may go to any doctor, you may go to any person. If you have a health ailment, whatever medicine and whatever food you have, if that prana is not restored back, you are still ill health. Think about it. Restoring the prana back to the normalcy is what becoming healthy back or coming out of the ailment is. So the doctor or the food can only support it, but उनका वश में नहीं है वो. हम क्या बताए अभी? प्राणस्येदम वशे सर्वम. प्राण का वश में हर चीज है, सिर्फ इधर नहीं, त्रिदिवे. ओके. मातेव पुत्रान रक्षस्व, इट प्रोटेक्ट्स मी. ओके. And I am trying to do what? Prana ayama. What is ayama?
Control.
Very good.
Correct.
Correct. प्राणस्येदम वशे सर्वम. प्राण का वश में हम है, and I want to control this प्राण. कितना बेवकूफ लोग हैं देखो. समझ में आ रहा है? Are you able to see the subtlety of such a topic? But sir, pranayam is also told in our shastra only. This Upanishad is also telling in our Shastra only. Upanishad says, Pranasyedam Vashe Sarvam. And the same Shastra says, you do pranayama. And yes, we do pranayama. And we see a benefit also. So either it controlling me is wrong, or me doing a futile exercise of trying to control it is wrong. Something has to be wrong, right? समझ में आ रहा है प्रॉब्लम किधर आ रहा है? भी समझ में सी नहीं है तो हम चाबी देके आपका अंदर डाल देंगे एक कीड़ा, तो यू विल एटलीस्ट स्टार्ट थिंकिंग. And hence we classify all our systems into controllable systems and voluntary actions and involuntary actions. Controllable, not controllable. Many of them by nature seems like non-controllable, but with our intelligence and right sadhana, we can regulate it, not control it. What is the force in which this water is trying to fall? Enormous energy. Enormous. And if I tell you that 500 मीटर का ऊपर से पानी नीचे गिर रहा है, जोरदार गिर रहा है, आप एक बकेट लेके पानी लेके आओ, will you be able to do that? This control is stupidity. Are you able to get this? But if I place a turbine below it and thereby try to get the energy of that water into an electrical form and channelize it, because again that electricity which has got generated, don't say that I will touch it and I will control it. No, you can't. You can only channelize it so that you can utilize it. And hence, when it is uncontrollable feature we are talking about it, that is where we are talking first line. Pranasyedam vashe sarvam tridive yat pratishthitam. The second line, Mateva Putran Rakshasva, is where it comes to the controllable one, or channelizable one, or regulatable one. The difference between control and regulation is something, this is another very subtle words there. The moment we say control, this word is there. I think our youngsters will understand it better. Pranav will understand it. Control freak. मतलब हिलने नहीं देने का, पूरा जकड़ के पकड़ के रख देने का, that the person will now suffocate and cannot move anywhere in doing anything. That means so tight boundaries. That is, whenever you say control, we are referring to the other person's existence also washing it off. That you don't even exist. Nimitta matram bhavasavya sachin. Your remote control is in my hand. तुम कुछ नहीं कर सकते. समझ में आ रहा है? उसका अस्तित्व निकाल देना है. But the moment you say I regulate it, the first thing what you are doing is you are respecting that other thing to be existing first. And the moment you respect it to exist, you also respect it as a certain characteristic and behavior, and that I need to know first. And then work with those so that it benefits me without harming that. For example, whenever in a circus this lion comes out, there is a ringmaster. The ringmaster, how much time it will take for that lion to do swaha of this ringmaster? Tell me. कितना देर लगेगा? So if the line is controlled by the ringmaster, the line will just eat away the ringmaster and become more energetic. But still the line sits when the ringmaster says. The line stands, the line jumps, the line does everything what the ringmaster says, and the ringmaster is not afraid of it. Because the ringmaster has mastered the characteristic of the line of that animal and nurtured it to benefit. Are you able to get that? And that is regulating. That is why in a fan you have a regulator. You don't call it a controller. You regulate it. You respect the boundaries. You know what is 0, you know what is 6, you know what is 5. After 6 also it will break. Because there you are trying to control. It won't work. Are you able to get this? So with prana, the more you regulate, the more it benefits you. Why? Ganga to beh ke jaane wali hai. Now it is up to the people who are on the banks of the Ganges to benefit out of that flowing Ganges, to either take water for the day-to-day working, to worship it, to wash the clothes, to do everything for farming, to grow more, and the Ganges continues to move. So my breathing is anyway going to be on. If I am able to harness it, I am the beneficiary. Otherwise, श्वास प्रश्वास तो चलते ही रहने वाला है और अपने आप एक दिन बंद होने वाला है. So to know how it works and its limits and its characteristic, and then work within that characteristic, slowly by slowly improving your pervasion along, मतलब दोनों साथ में जुड़ के चलेगा. That is called ayama. Now you see how prana ayama starts helping you. Now prana ayama is going to help you and not the prana. प्राण को फर्क ही नहीं गिरने वाला है. कोई यूज किया तो किया, नहीं किया तो गया. राइट? प्राण को फर्क नहीं है. But you benefit by regulating the prana. Is this part clear of prana? Okay.
Guruji,
Yes.
but isn't prana sukshma though?
Correct.
It is subtle, right, Guruji?
Correct.
So,
How can I control it? How can I regulate it?
yeah.
Correct. How about mana?
That's also sukshma.
Do you regulate it? If you can't regulate it, this word shama and dama has no meaning. That means there is a possibility to regulate it. Okay? We will see how. Okay. First thing is, because it is sukshma, I cannot regulate it, or it is, in short, untouchable by me. Nahi. I have to use more sukshma methods to reach out to it. I can't use that gross. So if it is sukshma, my chisel will be still narrower, still soft. I will not take a big hathodi and hit like the gross. समझ में आ रहा है? Methods change, but still I will be able to reach. It will take more time than the gross. Weight reduction is faster than meditation. Both are regulating, correct? Because that is with gross, it is easier. This is with subtle, it is tougher. It takes more time for you to expertise, get that, how to do it in the right way. Seamlessly do it properly, right? Okay. Now, we have not talked about the fourth line. In that shloka, Mateva Putran Rakshasva, I said. There is one more meaningful sentence is the last. Shriishcha prajnancha videhina iti. As much as it works like the mother protecting the child, it also benefits me in Shri and Prajna. Shri is, what is Shri? श्री का मतलब क्या है?
Health.
Hmm?
Health.
Health. No, Shri is not health. Shri is wealth.
Shri Mahalakshmi.
Shri is wealth. Okay. That is why Dhanteras, Lakshmi Pujan, Shri, Shubh Labh. Okay. So it gives me Shri and it gives me Prajna. What is Prajna?
Just consciousness, right?
Awareness.
No. Tell loudly.
Wisdom.
Wisdom. Okay. First, let us see what is Shri. Then we will see what is Prajna. What is Shri? Wealth. Right? So, Ambanis do a lot of pranayam every day. Yes or no? No. Then where is the Shri coming? Now Vale has to give an answer. What is wealth? Health is wealth. And hence, when you say Shri in this context, it is talking of health. Now come to Prajna. Videhina iti means it gives you, it bestows you. Okay. So, next is this Prajna, wisdom. What is wisdom? सर प्राणमय कोश किधर है? उधर से प्राण आया, उधर से किधर श्री गया, किधर किधर घुमा फिरा के किधर लेके जा रहा है, कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है सर. बट ऐसा थोड़ा जंगल में घूमेंगे ना, तब जाके मालूम पड़ेगा कि हम किधर खड़े हैं. To know your location, you have to get a little lost. So what is Prajna?
So knowledge, the right knowledge to achieve the
Is that enough?
right.
Is that enough?
Directional knowledge.
Huh?
Directional knowledge.
Directional knowledge. What does directional knowledge mean? Right direction, not in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I mean,
Or is it knowledge and the discipline? to
Knowledge
achieve?
and the discipline. No. Okay. Prajna is wisdom. Wisdom needs couple of things. When do you say this person is wise, and when you say the person is otherwise? Say this person is wise. Oh, क्या चालाक आदमी है, a wise guy यार. You tell ना, why? Have you thought? Why did you? The other person, you are not going to call the person as wise. You say, this person is wise here.
Because they implement what they know.
What does that
And
mean?
when
What does that mean? So, what all are required? First is the knowledge.
and action.
First is the knowledge. Wait, go
Knowledge,
step by
yeah.
step. Without the knowledge, nothing can happen. So, they have a knowledge. Knowledge of that complete. Okay. Alone, the knowledge is enough.
No.
That knowledge which is implementable to get some benefit out or something back, then only that knowledge has got utility. So they have the knowledge, they know how to utilize the knowledge. Okay. And third most important is they know what type of utilization of that knowledge is to be done at what situation. Okay. For example, just imagine that you are entering your apartment compound, or you are in India first of all. So the situation in US will be different. In India, it is a very common thing. You enter, that's why I'll call it, you enter your building, you enter your society. And when you enter, many flats are there. Obviously, there is an entrance to this, and you are walking towards the entrance, and then you see in the path where you are walking, there is a dog. And it is very common in India, the buildings will have some dog, either a stray dog or some pet or something will be there. Unmanned, left free. What will be your response to this situation? You are walking, you see a dog there. Now you have to go cross and get to you have to enter your entrance, that path you have to go. This dog is there. What will you do? Avoid. Anything else? Anyone will do anything else?
So if you know,
Take a chance and ignoring.
Take a chance. Ignore. So avoid is go away from it. Sambhal ke jana. Ignore is don't bother its presence. You keep going. Third, anything else?
if you've seen the dog before, then you know what kind of dog it is. Then based on that, you can decide whether to ignore, avoid, or
Or what?
or to call somebody to even move it away.
Or
talk to the dog.
talk to the dog. Or find where a stone is there. पहले अपने आप को बचाने को बोले पत्थर ढूंढो भाई, or a stick or something, or if not anything, कुछ करो, उसको भगाओ. Correct? How many options are there now? So you have a knowledge, you are aware of the options. Now you will make a conscious choice of which option you will exercise based on the situation. Suppose it is a small puppy. See, the whole thing has changed. Huh? You may go play cuddle with it and then go. समझ में आ रहा है? So our choices based on the knowledge will depend on the situation and what is our decision of action, and the result of that action, if it is consistently coming very positive and beneficial at large, then only you call the person wise. If it is only going to benefit that person alone, normally among friends you will have one person who is a selfish guy. It will benefit that person. You will not call that person wise. You will say, oh, to selfish, oh, to cunning. Whom do you call wise? Only when at large there is a benefit. And consistently this type of a analysis, discretionary ability and the knowledge and the decision making with the action which gives that type of a consistent result is only a person you will call wise. Correct? That means emotional stability should be there, intellectual knowledge should be there. That intellectual knowledge should be available for action without emotionally being disturbed. समझ में आ रहा है? Why did I break it to all these levels now? Mind, emotional stability, intellect, knowledge, memory, and discretional ability. All this will have to be working. And prajna involves all this. So, if you now look at this whole structure, you have Annamaya Kosha, which is the grossest, and then you have Vijnanamaya Kosha, which is quite subtle. After Anna comes Prana, then comes Mana, then comes Vijnana. If this Vijnana and Mana should function perfectly and allow it through the Indriyas to come at the body level and do the action by which the benefit is seen, that alignment of all this has to be done. Are you able to get this? Or is it getting very bored now? This Pranamaya Kosha is the pivot which is joining the Annamaya and the Manomaya. Okay. And is very strongly, so manifestation of Pranamaya is at the gross body. Control of Pranamaya is in the Manomaya. Manas controls Prana, but at the same time, the Prana can pull the Manas. This topic, we will have to take it in the next class. Because Chaleva te chalam chittam nischale nischalam bhavet yogistanu tvamapnoti tato vayun nirodayet. आ रहा है एक एक कनेक्शन में अभी क्यों तभी लिया था योगा में अभी समझ में आएगा. दे आर टॉकिंग ऑफ द कोशास वेरी क्लियरली. प्राणस्येदम वशेसनो मातेव पुत्रान रक्षस्व श्री अन्नमय कोश प्रज्ञा मनोमय विज्ञानमय आनंदमय कोश. So these two are getting connected because of this one pranamaya, and that is the most important. It is highly unutilized or underutilized by our regulation. We have left it to how it has to work. But that is an area where we can regulate. And if you regulate this prana, it will regulate Annamaya as well as it will regulate the Manomaya. It is like if two slices of bread is there, the chutney or the jam gives the actual taste to it. Otherwise, these two are tasteless. बट वो चटनी और जैम का वैल्यू नहीं आते. ब्रेड को सामने देखते हैं, ये बीच में सैंडविच्ड है, उसको हम खोल के थोड़ा कंट्रोल एक्सरसाइज करने को बोल रहे हैं इधर. Whenever you are able to exercise this control on this prana, that area is called pranamaya kosha. फाइनली पूरा 1 घंटे के बाद प्राणमय कोश का बाजू में तो आए. Next time we will go to this prana, mana, pavana sambandha. How this prana and manas are connected, and how does this prana go across in the body, where nadis, chakra, everything will come in place. All these are not there in Viveka Chudamani because it is expected. These are primary related topics which you all know. Interesting, na? Quite an interesting area which we never thought that it can be so interesting. Clear? Okay, we'll connect in the next week. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. धन्यवाद.
Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Yeah.